Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Schuyler Callihan. That is legendary West Virginia running back Eugene Napoleon, repping the Jack State football shirt. If you don't know, Eugene's son Brandon, assistant coach down there at Jack State on Rich Rod's staff. They are going to be playing in the Conference USA, right?
That's right,
That's
sir.
the conference they're in. So they're going to be playing for the Conference USA championship game. Started out 0-3 and have won what, 8 straight games?
Eight straight.
Unbelievable. So
Eight
great
straight.
job by Coach Rod, by Coach BNAP, everyone down there with Jack State football, really turning that program around. But for West Virginia, getting back in the win column, they beat UCF 31-21 on Senior Day, final home game of the regular season. Hard to believe it's already that time of year. Just seems like it's a blink of an eye and it happens so fast. But here we are with one game left to go. We'll go ahead and take a look here at the numbers. West Virginia quarterback Garrett Green, his final game at Milan Puskar Stadium, he goes 13 of 21 for 118 yards and a touchdown, ran the ball 18 times for 49 yards. And how about this, Gene? We talked about it for the last 3 weeks. If you feed C.J. Donaldson early, good things happen. And boy, did they. 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, and probably could have had a little bit more if they would have went to even more in the third and fourth quarters. But he had himself a fine day. And then, of course, RJ Harvey, we previewed him on Thursday, the nation's third leading rusher. He had 130 yards to add on to his impressive total for the year and 2 touchdowns. So, Gene, the first thing that stands out to me when I look at the stat sheet, and it kind of felt like this in the game, it felt like West Virginia held on to the ball forever, and they did. They had a time of possession edge of 37 minutes to 22. They were 8 of 18 on third down situations. It sounds so simple, Gene, but I mean, you could say this for every team, but especially for a team like West Virginia that maybe doesn't have, and I know you may disagree with me here, but the elite talent on the outside at the receiver spot or the elite passing game that you would like to have. Yet, if you're a run first team and that needs to keep its defense off the field, you have to be able to hold on to the football, and that includes moving the ball on third down and resetting the chains. They finally did that today, and that was, to me, the key to this win.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, first off, when if you don't have those other things, the elite talent on the outside, and those sort of things, and you have to have a structure or an offense, or even on the defensive side of the ball, where you are coaching in a certain way where you're going to get the best out of whatever you have on the field. Because again, you got to compete. Period. No matter who you're playing, you have to compete. So if you're trusting your starting 11 on defense, your starting 11 on offense, your starting 11 on special teams, then you better coach them up to get the best out of them. West Virginia today looked really, really good from a standpoint of they came out with some energy. It
Yeah.
looked as though they came out fired up, ready to go, and they played that way throughout the course of the game. And to me, that's how you win games like this. And I know the fans may say, "Oh, well, look, they beat a team that what UCF is what
4-7 now.
4-7 now. Okay, so they beat a team that was 4-6. Listen, I don't care who you're playing or what their record is. It's hard to get a win at this level. You've heard me say that many a times in the past. It's very true. To go, West Virginia could have easily went out there and laid an egg on senior night. I'm glad they didn't because I
Yeah.
really wanted them to send these seniors out the right way. I really wanted WVU to get to a bowl to become bowl eligible, which we are. Those things are important.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy with the win today. I'm happy with how we won. Again, to give up a late touchdown, late in the game to make it seem like it was a little bit closer than what it was. Yeah, I can take or leave it. The bottom line is we got the dub, and that's what's most important.
I tweeted right after UCF got that last touchdown to make it a 10-point game. I was kind of being a smart ass of sorts, but I said, 5 minutes and 20 seconds left or whatever it was, 10-point lead, chalk it up as a win, right? Because obviously the Pittsburgh game, the backyard brawl, they blew a 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go. So they're actually able to hold on. But to me, I thought, I don't know if it would have changed the outcome of the game, but I think the decision to go for the onside kick there probably didn't help UCF whatsoever. Because to me, I thought UCF's defense was playing well. Let me look here. Fourth quarter, yeah, West Virginia had only had scored 3 points in the fourth quarter. They had the touchdown earlier in the in the third quarter, and the offense kind of felt like it was sputtering a little bit. If I was UCF, I would have just kicked that thing deep with 5 minutes to go. You still have all three of your timeouts and the 2 minute warning, and the onside kick didn't even make it the full 10 yards. Again, I don't know that it changes the game, but I think it definitely played an impact.
Well, it makes it a little bit more difficult. The bottom line is you don't want to give West Virginia a short field, which they wound up doing anyway.
Right.
Make it a little bit more. You want to make it a little bit more difficult, obviously, to drive the ball down the field if you're on the other side of your 50. But when you're doing that, you're actually playing into West Virginia's hands. And look, for me, thank you. We'll take it, Gus. Gus, we'll take it. Appreciate it. But at the end of the day, we spoke about it and the preview, to preview this game. CJ ran that ball like it was nobody's business. The offensive line did a heck of a job, giving them some creases. But he is just, when he gets going, he is just hard to bring down.
He is.
And he is the hammer that wears the defense down. Then you give it your change of pace back. Is Jaheim White. He got in there, did his thing. Obviously on cue, whenever we needed it, of course, Mr. Green, that's what I call him. He did what he had to do with his legs, and he looked good throwing the ball today. In certain spots when we really needed certain plays, he made plays. That's what you expect out of a senior. That's what you expect out of your leaders. And I'm glad that, I'm glad we got the win. People may say it doesn't take any pressure off of Neal Brown. Here's the bottom line. You get to a bowl game, okay? Extra money for the university, extra TV time for the university, extra marketing for the university. Everybody happy, right?
Yeah.
Am I happy with the record? No, I'm not. But we accomplished something that most schools have not accomplished at this point. We're bowl eligible. I'll take the small win, Schuyler. I'll take the small win.
Absolutely. The other big decision I thought was very shortly after the onside kick attempt was failed by UCF. They get a first down or two, I believe. Can't remember exactly, but it comes down to a 4th and 9 opportunity for West Virginia. They were well within field goal range. And Neal Brown decides to call timeout, thinks about it, and sends the offense back out onto the field. My mind the whole time was like, why are you doing this? Just go take the points and live with the 13-point lead. And I know what Neal's probably going to say in the press conference, which is going on as we speak this. If he's asked about it, I'm sure he's going to say, "Well, we don't want to run the risk of the field goal being blocked and ran back." But my thing is, you have to have some trust in your special teams unit, right? You've talked about how good they've been all season long. Have full faith in them. If you don't get that first down, it's a 10-point game. Yes, it's still a 2-score game with a field goal, but when it's a 10-point game, they only need a touchdown and a field goal to tie it up. If you kick the field goal, they have to have 2 touchdowns to get past you. So to me, I would have kicked the field goal, even though it ended up working out for Neal Brown. I still would have kicked the field goal. Thoughts on the decision and how it worked out?
Well, here's the thing. So, okay, it's plays like that, it's decisions like that, again, no disrespect, to the Knights here, but when you're playing against, you know what I'm going to say. When you're playing a bigger game, a better opponent, those are the kind of decisions that you can't make. So don't even get into the habit of making those decisions now. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I wouldn't have done that. I agree with you 100%. Give me the points. Points are, especially when points are seem to be a premium. Give me the points.
Right.
So hopefully that's something that's not indicative of the way that Neal calls a game. And I say that, and then I got to take it back because we know it's indicative of the way he calls the games, because those are the type of things that happens to West Virginia. And those are the games that we either lose or we're up by 10 with 3 minutes left, because you brought it up, so I'll echo that. And you wind up losing 4 similar decisions. So I'm glad it worked out today.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that could have got a little hairy there. And I know UCF's passing game was not really in sync today. But anything, I mean, when you get to that point in the game, you're playing not necessarily prevent defense, but you're going to let them catch the ball in front of you. And the way this team has been inconsistent in tackling, that's going to be problematic. So you
Sure.
never want to give them that opportunity. I just thought it made more sense to take the field goal, make them
Absolutely.
score 2 touchdowns. But I also understand wanting to finish the game with the ball in your hands. But it would have been a lot different if it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. Sure, what
Sure.
the hell, go for it. But 4th and 9, lucky it panned out, right? Lucky it panned out. So
Absolutely.
as you mentioned, this win does get WVU to bowl eligibility, but to me, it doesn't change my thoughts on this season, Gene. It has been a massive disappointment. You're six
Yeah.
and five in year 6, and you beat a team that you should have beat. As I mentioned on Thursday, we made our picks. I said this is the type of game that Neal Brown's going to win. Every
Sure.
time they get a little bit of pressure against them, feels like Neal Brown's got his back against the ropes. Some subpar team, not trying to be too disrespectful to UCF here, but just it is what it is. When you have another subpar team stepping in at the exact right timing, that's what seems to happen. And all of a sudden, you get the win. The noise kind of hushes down for maybe a little bit, maybe not so much from the fan base, but from within the university. And here you go. So I don't know that a win necessarily, or if a loss would have necessarily made the university change the coaching situation, but I think a win is probably enough for them. Not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent, but I don't see a coaching change being made at this point.
We're not a mediocre program. So 6-6, if that's what we end up, 7-5 with this particular roster of talent.
It's not
I
good.
think I think I said well 9-3. I think that was my prediction. I even got crazy. I think I said 10-2. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. But my point is no. 7-5 with this particular group of seniors and this type of talent. No, that wasn't. No, it is a disappointing season. I don't care what anybody says. But we're here to talk about this win today, which we got.
Yeah.
I don't mind that it's against a subpar or, because I guarantee you this, right? So UCF is not happy either. They're not happy with their season and with the results of where the direction that they're going. You can't tell me Gus Malzahn, Gus and his staff is happy with that. No, I know they're not. I know the kind of coach that he is, right? He didn't expect to be where they are right now, 4-7. No. So everybody has to kind of pump their brakes a little bit. I do agree with you. I don't think that this win it might and it may not silence the fan because
Yeah.
they're playing against a 4-6 team. They're supposed to win that game. Win the games that you're not supposed to win. How about that? You know what I mean? Let me see you out coach somebody. How about that? So
Yeah.
I'm sure fans was good. It's going to be interesting to read the comments to see what they say. Again, I'm just glad that we're bowl eligible.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Let's go get a win next week. Let's finish up strong in the regular season, 7-5. Go to a bowl and see what we can muster.
Yeah. Because I mean, listen, like I know for me, it's kind of challenging whenever I don't have a bowl to cover. It's a
Yeah,
long month of December. I can only imagine for the fan base what it's like to sit there and watch everybody else play in a bowl game, even if it's a low tier bowl. Like at least it's something. It's one more game that you get to watch, and you have something to play for. I know it's not a college football playoff or anything like that, but you're playing for a trophy, right? And that's what you
absolutely.
want to have that opportunity with every year, to have that chance. And Gene, like the only optimistic thing that I've kind of found in this win is with a win at Texas Tech and a win in the bowl game, you finish the year 8-5, which is only one game off of your record from last year at 9-4. Not saying that that's acceptable or whatever, because this season has been a disappointment. We're not trying to write that off,
Right.
but finishing 8-5 is much, much better than 5-7 or 6-7 or 7-6. So you have a chance at least to finish this year strong and try to right some of the wrongs you had from earlier in the year.
Listen, I agree with you 100%. I think now, here's the catch. You finish 8-5 with a bowl win, right? Um, will that be enough for the fan base to be happier than what they are now and
They
will
won't have a
accept,
choice because he's going to
right,
be here next year if that's the case.
right, will accept that, outcome. For me, like you, um, my decimals will probably come down to about 10%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of my next door neighbor hearing me scream, 4 houses down will probably hear me scream. Okay, so it'll come down about 10%. But I'll take 8-5 than anything else that we possibly can be. So I'm with you on that. You win, you go out winning, and at that point it'll be 2 games in a row. Correct? It'll be 2 games because you
And
win
then
every.
third if you win the bowl.
So I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah. And
I'll take it.
I think the struggling part for me is, again, you haven't beaten the teams that have a pulse. I mean, we went over that record a couple of weeks ago on the game day show where most of their wins have come against teams that have a bad Big 12 winning or a bad Big 12 record.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, you got to take it for what it is. 31-21, you win today. Hopefully you find a way to win on the road in Lubbock next week and then win the bowl game. Again, with the season ending November 30th, this is very key to remember. Signing day is December 4th or December 5th, one of those 2 days. If you are going to make a change, not just West Virginia, anybody, you're going to probably have to make it. Some schools may even make it after this weekend because you got to have some runway here before signing day. If
Right.
it's not going to happen now, it's probably not going to happen at the end of the year. So I'll say this: Neal Brown probably going to be here in 2025. I feel pretty comfortable in saying that. Now, I've been proven wrong many times before, but that's kind of the feeling that I get right now. Again, a loss necessarily doesn't mean that they would have fired him, but I think this win just kind of quiets that noise from within. Probably never going to quiet it from the outside, but that is
Right.
what it is. So, a final look here at the road ahead, and it has only got one stop left in it. Again, it's that trip out to Lubbock to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who are now 7-4 as they have defeated Oklahoma State just moments ago. Oklahoma State in a massive shootout, 56-48, an old school Big 12 shootout. So they improved to 7-4. They'll be looking for their 8th win on the 30th when they host the Mountaineers. So that's going to do it for us here tonight on the Mountaineer postgame show. For Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here at West Virginia on SI, and make sure you give us a follow on X at SI_WVU. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Between the Years.